Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Colorado. Now this is a ship that I hear a lot of people say is a bad ship. Oh, the Colorado, it's so bad, I can't stand the Colorado, it's so bad. But actually it's not. It's just not a bad ship. It's just that everybody plays it terribly. So we're going to showcase a little bit of playing it really well and let you guys see what that looks like. Now, one of the things that you need to know about the Colorado right off the bat is that it is not well armored. Why is that? Because it has 16-inch guns. Well, Spartan, it's a tier 6 battleship. It's got 16-inch guns. It should still have armor, and it does have armor. It's got a very nice belt armor, as you can see sticking out the side of the ship there. But the problem is that everybody that plays this ship does one of two things. They go bow in, or they go flat broadside. You can do neither in this ship and expect to do well. Because it's got a 25mm bow, just like every other tier 6 battleship, which means anything 15 inches and above overmatches the bow and goes straight through. And flat broadside, you're never going to do well in any ship, as this Gneisenau is about to demonstrate for us, because, I mean, it's probably the best armored ship at its tier. Sinop would give it a run for its money, but I think Gneisenau actually is better armored, in my opinion. However, this Gneisenau is going to completely negate his armor, because he's just going to sail around broadside, and we're going to blap him for 12,000 damage right off the bat. That's 4 overpins, okay? Imagine if those shells that overpinned had actually gotten full penetrations. That man is absolutely devastating. Now here we're going to showcase one of the weaknesses of the Colorado at tier 6, and that is fighting light cruisers. It's not its forte. You will blap them. I mean, look at this man. He's beached. We're going to go ahead and take the shot. It says we can't hit him, but that's because the auto aim is trying to think that he's on the island. And you can see we just mostly do overpen. We actually got 2 full penetrations there, which was surprising. And that's probably because he was angled. But that's not where this thing shines, okay? It can and absolutely will blap the crap out of cruisers, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't tend to Citadel cruisers very often. It generally overpins them, and you end up wishing you hadn't had 16-inch AP. But, you know, that is that beautiful aiming system bug that we all love, where all of the rounds decide to fall short of the target, even though you're aiming for them to be reversing and away from them. Yeah, the shells just land right off the side of his ship, scraping his torpedo protection on his little tiny cruiser, and managing to ricochet a 16-inch heavy AP round. Yeah, I know. Well, here, we were looking at the Leander that's close to us, and then we decided to take a shot at the Leander that's further away. Namely, due to the fact that the one closest to us I didn't think was going to live long enough, and sure enough, I think he takes, well, maybe he doesn't take a torpedo, but he has lost all of his hit points. So we didn't need to worry about him. Now, we're going to push forward, we're going to try to help this side. Now, this is going to be one of those matches where you just cannot fathom the amount of just stupid plays that both teams make. Like, I'm not joking. This game is going to come down to one team having a team of destroyers that is capable of thinking and breathing at the same time. That is the only difference in this match. Both teams have equal amount of potatoes. Both teams have one particular person that's going to carry them through this game. And both teams are going to survive the match. Okay? I say teams. Both teams are going to have at least one person survive the match. And as you can see, Gneisenau still broadside, still getting blapped. That time we chunked him for over 20k. And that's what I'm talking about with this ship. It's not a bad ship. It's got decent accuracy, which is more than I can say for what I've seen on PC. Like, the PC version of this ship definitely does not have the accuracy that this thing has on console. Or maybe it's just because Peak is bad at Colorado on PC. Who knows? But from what I've seen of it on PC, it was not particularly amazing accuracy-wise. And it can troll you at times, as we've already demonstrated. With that shot there, which should have been a kill shot, but, you know, only managed to land 3 shells and 2 of them were overpins, forcing us to take one more shot at this guy. Now, our team did manage to capture 3 bases early in this match, okay? And that's huge. But then our team just kind of runs away from everything and chases damage rather than playing smart. Which is going to lead our team down the path of the throw, which we've talked about many, many times. People just do not understand or comprehend what it takes to win. They only know one thing, and that is chasing damage, or sometimes just playing follow the leader. And you'll see that I actually try to get my team to stop playing follow the leader here. There's a Molotov, I think, right next to us. Or no, Budyani. Maybe it's Budyani. That's right next to us. It's a Russian cruiser. And it's got radar. And so I'm like, okay, I need you to come with me, dude. Why? Because I'm anticipating a fight with destroyers in the near future. Why? Because I'm pushing back towards the middle of the base because I can already tell somebody is going for Charlie. Why? Because the other side of the map has completely won their side. Which means we are all that's left of our team. The other side has completely fallen. There are 2 destroyers on that side, plus a couple of cruisers, plus a battleship. Most of those guys are coming back to defend the Bravo cap, but you can assume that at least one person is going to be going towards the Charlie cap. Why? Because that's the smart play to make. Now you can see I don't have a shot on anybody here because I decided to come back inside, and the Miyoko's going to be really obnoxious and sit right behind this peak of the island for this entire duration. I was really hoping that he would just charge straight in and I would get a shot through the gap in the island. That never materializes, ever. Leander manages to stay behind the island, but our team is doing okay. But look at our positioning of our team. Our destroyer's way out on the flank. He's against cruisers, which is never a position you want to be in a destroyer unless you absolutely have to. And in this situation, he doesn't absolutely have to. He's just putting himself in harm's way for no reason. Now, Miyoko manages to kill our Atlanta, but our Atlanta manages to kill the Leander. So he gets a flesh wound. So we trade there. Now, an Atlanta, tier 6, light cruiser, for a Leander is not exactly what I would call a good trade. Not a good trade for our team, but a very good trade for their team. Now, obviously, the one big downside of the Colorado at tier 6 is that it's just not fast. It's very slow. And that is going to materialize itself here, as I am literally the only one that actually has a brain cell that is actually going to try to win the game for the team, rather than try to chase damage and chase people off the map and put themselves in terrible positions. I'm going to try to bring us back. Now you can see Zara lights up just momentarily, but there's nothing I can do there. So at least I know that it's a Zara that's in the Charlie cap. Now obviously there was somebody other than Zara there too. There was a destroyer. And that destroyer is actually going to rotate all the way around the backside of the map, and he's going to come back in and grab Alpha. Now, we are finally in position where we can finally start taking shots. We take a shot at Colorado. We get about 11,000 damage, maybe 10,000 damage. Miyoko takes a torpedo there, I believe, and that's actually huge because that means he's a one-shot kill. Now, Akatsuki is about to come around the corner. I mark this guy right off the bat that he's coming around the corner. There's a Fuso right behind me. We take the shot. Look at that accuracy. Blam! All of his health gone. He has lost over 2/3 of his health. Okay? He has no health left. Like, the Akatsuki by itself has, what, like 11,000 hit points? So we just took 2/3 of that? The man has less than 5,000 hit points left, for sure. And so, I'm feeling pretty confident. But our destroyer does the unthinkable thing of not just directly engaging the Akatsuki. He should have went into the base, killed the Akatsuki, and captured the Bravo cap. But he doesn't. And now you can see Akatsuki leaves his smoke. He's firing his guns. He's got our destroyer spotted between him and the frickin' Colorado. And we've already seen what a Colorado can do to a destroyer when it's spotted. And the Fuso wasn't even paying attention and still isn't shooting the Akatsuki. Why? Why are you shooting HE at a Colorado 14 kilometers away when there's a broadside destroyer 10 kilometers from you? Now, we shoot the Akatsuki again, and of course we leave him alive. We only hit him with one shell that time, because we have to. And then our Asashio is actually going to die to their Colorado and their Akatsuki. Which is unthinkable, considering I started out by taking 2/3 of the health off of the freaking Akatsuki. So we lose our only remaining destroyer. Our Budjani is pushing out in front of a Colorado that it already knows is there, and the destroyer. Meanwhile, I have no choice but to engage the Tsar. Tsar is point blank. I want to make sure that I don't screw this shot up, so I wait. And I take the shot, and we Citadel him and manage to take most of his hit points. He's over halfway down, and we're going to get the rear guns around. We had already started rotating our guns. So our guns are going to be there pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and start turning out. I'm assuming that he already torped the battleship that was here. So we're going to go ahead and try to finish this man off. We hit him with the rear turret. Leave him alive, of course, because that's what we do. Not allowed to hit him with more than 1 or 2 shells there. Now, he is going to try to smoke up, but you've got 2 battleships within range of you, and you've been firing your guns. You're not going to disappear that easily, and we Citadel and kill him. Alright, so now this game is pretty much out of reach. It's still anybody's ball game, but it is pretty much out of reach, and why is that? Because they have 2 destroyers, right? We have 1 cruiser that is at the Alpha Cap right now. There's a destroyer in the Alpha Cap, and this guy could easily take on that destroyer. Watch what he does instead. Instead of going after the destroyer who's in the Alpha Cap, who he has a radar and can actually do something about, instead of doing that, he's going to turn away from the Alpha Cap, go after the Bravo Cap, and go straight in front of the 1 guy on the enemy team who has absolutely carried them, and that is their Colorado. It's unfathomable how these people manage to throw as hard as they do. But they make all of the wrong decisions. And I'm not saying this to bash the guy, okay? I get it. It's Tier 5 and Tier 6. You're expecting people to not quite understand everything about the game. I get that. I'm not saying this to bash people. This is meant as a way to show people that when you're in these situations, you've got to be more aware of what is going on. Always pay attention to the timer. Always pay attention to the score. Always pay attention to who is where and what you are in versus them. Now, obviously, you can see I'm marking the Akatsuki because if he can kill the Akatsuki, which he does, then it's not the worst situation. Now it becomes a 1v1, me versus their Colorado. Both players are already showing that they're very good at the game. Their Colorado just picked up a Kraken because my team just fed themselves to him. And I've already had a high cow. So we're both in the situation where we're going to end up with high cows. He gets the Kraken unleashed, and I've got to fight from behind. But we catch him right off the gate with 11,000 damage, and we start turning in. We take nothing in return. That's huge. Now, he does get a little bit of an overpin there on our superstructure with an outlier shell. But you can see, I am going to push the objective here. I'm going to push this guy. We did manage to capture 1. We're not going to win on points at this point. We have to kill him. We got less than 3 minutes left. So I have to kill this man. And you can see our battleship did just fire over the middle of the map at the guy. And I don't know if he's going to do any damage or really of any sort of consequence due to the fact that he's firing HE for the entirety of the match out of a Fuso. But, you know, to each their own. I guess that's what most people do nowadays, is fire HE out of battleships that are fully capable of using AP. But, you know, what do I know? Either way, Colorado is going away, and he's again showcasing that he knows what he's doing. We're going to get some very, very unfortunate RNG over the next couple of shots here, and you can see we hit 1 shell and it hits his turret. Now, we overmatch the bow and the stern of him, and he overmatches the bow and stern of us. So you can see I try to turn away. He gets 2 shells to land right into my bow side plating, and he manages to hit me for about 8,000 damage. Now, this gives me an opportunity to get into the Dreadnought Shuffle, because now we can get all of our guns to bear. We're able to shoot at him and avoid being able to be shot back, and we're getting all of our firepower to bear. Now, you can see we're not getting the best RNG, but we did get a decent salvo there. 2 full penetrations. One of which was for like 4,000, the other was for like 2,000, even though it said it was full pin. But you can see he returns fire once again, getting about 8,600 damage off of us. But then he makes the mistake of going to get all of his firepower involved, while not realizing that I'm already in the Dreadnought Shuffle. I already have the ability to have my guns loaded, and you can see as soon as my guns are loaded, I'm already ready to fire all 4 sets. This is the Dreadnought Shuffle in its power. Like, this is exactly what I talk about when I say the Dreadnought Shuffle. You have to learn to time your turns. Make sure that you know how long it takes your ship to turn, so that when your guns are loaded, you are ready to fire all of the guns. And then you can already start your turn back after you fired your guns. You can time it so that you're making yourself as narrow as possible, or at least potentially deflecting shells from the enemy return volley. Now we take a shot here, and again, we're aiming for superstructure and potential penetrations through the back, and we managed to hit the turrets with 3 shells. We should have killed him there, but because we managed to hit the freaking turret with 3 shells, we end up ricocheting and not killing him. But I have nothing bad to say about that enemy Colorado. He absolutely carried its team. The destroyers made the difference in this fight. Look at the medals that man got. He got a Kraken Unleashed. He got a Confederate. He got a High Cal. He got a Close Quarters. He got a Flesh Wound. I say Flesh Wound. How did he get a... I don't think it's a Flesh Wound. He didn't die, so there's no way it's Flesh Wound. But maybe it's a First Blood medal and a Death Strike. But you can see, like... The difference in this was the fact that we have no destroyers on my team that were capable of using any sort of base caps. Like, once we captured the 3 bases initially, everybody just forgot how to play. And as soon as you do that, you open the door for the enemy team to do exactly what they did, which is capture the bases and win on points. If we manage to hold one of those bases longer, if that Bajani, instead of going for the destroyer in the middle of the map, goes for the destroyer in the alpha cap and kills him, that keeps that base under our control and allows us to potentially win the fight there. Now, the game was almost over, 25 seconds left. We managed to kill the Zara and capture that base, but then we had to get back and fight the Colorado. Would we have finished the Colorado in one more shot? I don't know. I don't know. But those are the situations that you put yourself in when you actually give yourself a chance. We never gave ourselves a chance because our team just didn't capture the bases. They weren't playing to win, they were playing for themselves. So that is the point that I want to make, and that the Colorado really isn't that bad. As you just saw, 2 Colorados enter, 1 on either team, both of them dominate the match at tier 6. So Colorado is not a bad ship. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.